Hey, if you're building apps for Apple, you know the whole game is constantly changing. And let's be real, the biggest shift in years has been SwiftUI. So today, we're going to break down what it is, why it's such a massive change, and the big question, is it actually ready for your next project? First up, we'll start with a little story, a tale of two UIs, looking at the old way versus the new. Then, we'll properly introduce SwiftUI and really get into how it thinks. After that, we'll uncover the magic of state management. And we'll wrap it all up by asking if it's ready for prime time and what this whole declarative future looks like.
All right, so to really understand SwiftUI, we have to start with the single biggest change it brings to the table. We're talking about the huge shift from an imperative way of doing things to a declarative one.
For years, building an interface with UIKit felt a little like being a micromanager. You had to spell out every single step. Okay, find this button. Now change its color. After that, update this label, and then animate it into place. You are responsible for every single little change, every single step of the way. This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? With UIKit, you had that imperative, step-by-step approach, you were juggling XML-based storyboard files, and you had to manage all the state changes by hand. SwiftUI just flips that entire script. It's declarative, it's all written in pure Swift code, which is amazing, and check this out. It works across all Apple platforms. And the best part? State management is built right in. All of this means you write way less code to get fantastic results.
So that was the old way. Let's move on and talk about Apple's modern answer to all that complexity and boilerplate. Let's talk about SwiftUI.
At its heart, SwiftUI is Apple's modern, fresh take on building apps. The keywords you really need to remember here are declarative, all Apple platforms, and simple Swift code. It's not just an update, it's a complete rethink of how user interfaces should be built from the ground up.
And this quote just nails it, right? This is the entire philosophy behind SwiftUI. It's all about efficiency and power. The goal is to let you write less code, to build better, more powerful apps, and to do it a whole lot faster.
So how does SwiftUI actually think? What's going on under the hood? Well, it all starts with a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. Think of your UI in terms of simple building blocks and how you lay them out.
In the world of SwiftUI, literally everything you see on screen is a view. A piece of text, that's a view. An image, a view. A button, a slider, the entire screen itself, it's all just a view. And just look at this code. This is all it takes to get a screen with text on it. It's so clean, so simple, and anyone can read it.
Okay, so if everything's a view, how do you arrange them? Simple. You use layout containers. Here, we've just wrapped a text view and a button view inside something called a V stack. The V just stands for vertical. And just by doing that, SwiftUI automatically knows, okay, I need to stack these two things one on top of the other. It's really that easy.
And you have a few of these powerful containers in your toolbox. You've got VStack for vertical stacks, HStack for horizontal ones, and ZStack for layering things on top of each other. Think of it like a depth or a Z-axis. Then you've got specialized tools like lists and scroll view for all your scrollable content. These are your essential building blocks.
Now we get to the most powerful part of SwiftUI. This is the piece that, when you first see it, feels like absolute magic. We're talking about automatic state management. Here's the core idea. Instead of telling the UI how to change step by step, you just declare what the UI should look like for any given state, which is really just a fancy word for your data. Then, whenever that data changes, SwiftUI automatically and really efficiently handles redrawing the screen for you. You don't have to do anything.
So how does it know when to update? Well, SwiftUI gives us these special tools called property wrappers. @state is your go-to for simple data that lives and dies in one view, like a toggle switch being on or off. @binding is like a direct line to that state so another view can read and change it. Then for bigger things, @stateObject is for complex data that a view owns, while @observedObject just keeps an eye on data that was created somewhere else. And @environmentObject is for data that needs to be available everywhere in your app. These little tags are the triggers that tell SwiftUI, hey, this thing changed. Time to update the UI.
And here is where it all clicks. See that little @state tag right before the count variable? That's the magic link. That one line tells SwiftUI to watch this variable. So when the button gets tapped and count goes up, SwiftUI sees the change and automatically rebuilds the text view to show the new number. No refresh code, no manual updates. It just works.
Okay, this all sounds fantastic, but let's get practical. Let's talk about the real world. Is SwiftUI actually ready to be used in big production apps? What are the pros and what are the cons?
The advantages are pretty huge. That declarative, reactive style means you're writing less code, which almost always means fewer bugs. It's all pure Swift, so goodbye XML and storyboards. It's cross-platform, and the live previews in Xcode are a total game changer, giving you instant feedback that speeds up your workflow like crazy. Plus, it's built for modern architectures like MVVM, helping you write cleaner, more organized code.
But we have to be realistic, right? SwiftUI is still evolving. Some of the newer, more advanced features might not be there if you have to support older versions of iOS. For some really complex, custom UI stuff, you might still need to drop back into UIKit. And for developers who have spent years in UIKit, it definitely requires a new way of thinking. There's a bit of a learning curve.
So, what's the verdict? When should you use it? This table is a great little cheat sheet. Starting a brand new app from scratch? Go with SwiftUI, no question, especially if it's a multi-platform app. Working on an older, existing app? You can start mixing SwiftUI in with your UIKit code. It works great. And while SwiftUI is fantastic for complex animations, you might still need UIKit for super advanced custom drawing.
So, with all that in mind, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. Where is all of this taking us?
All right, let's do a quick recap of the most important takeaways. SwiftUI is declarative. You describe what you want, you don't micromanage how to do it. It's state-driven, so your UI updates automatically. It's multi-platform, it supports clean architecture, and at the end of the day, it lets you get more done with less code.
And I really want to leave you with this final thought. SwiftUI isn't just another tool in the toolbox or an update to an old way of doing things. It represents a fundamental shift in philosophy. It's about building our apps in a more intuitive, more powerful, and ultimately, a more efficient way. And that, right there, is the future of building for Apple's entire ecosystem.